I think we can get started. Are we ready at the back? Let me know when we are ready so that I can start. I think we can get started. The Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority Board Chairperson, Dr. Stanley Kaila, MACRA Director General, Mr. Daud Suleiman, MACRA Management and members of staff present here, Head of Media Writing, representing Director of Communications at State House, Mr. Shadrack Chukoti, Lead Facilitator for the Media Influencers Workshop and Communications Expert, Mr. Bodwin Chiamwaka, and your team, Media Institute of Southern Africa, Mr. Malawi President, Mr. Gordon Matonga, our keynote speaker, Robot Boy from South Africa, distinguished participants from Malawi and those joining us online from across the world, esteemed colleagues from the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the Digital Media Influencers Workshop, which has been organized by the Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority, MACRA. As per the invitation, we are gathered here this morning to discuss the roles and responsibility of digital media influencers and opinion leaders when using digital technologies. Before we start our program this morning, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite Mr. Shadrack Chukoti to offer the opening prayer. Mr. Chukoti.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come before your presence this morning with thanksgiving in our hearts. We want to thank you because of this day which you've given us so that we should rejoice and be glad in it. And we want to thank you, Lord, because of this workshop, an opportunity that you have given us to gather together, but also an opportunity that you've given us as people to influence others, to influence behaviors, to influence change. This is a huge opportunity that you have given us, and we want to thank you because of this workshop, Lord, that we can be taught, we can be given insight into how we can manage our influence, into how we can manage our spaces. I want to pray for all the facilitators, all the leaders, or everybody who is taking part in leading this workshop, that you be with them. And I want to pray, Lord, for the 2 days that we're going to be here, that you will lead us and provide us with guidance and wisdom. It is in the name of Jesus that I've prayed. Amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chikoti. Ladies and gentlemen, our expectation is that you will be active participants and engage meaningfully, and of course, enjoy all the sessions that have been lined up for the next 2 days. Shortly, I'll be inviting the Director General of MACRA to come forward, but maybe before I do that, allow me to invite each one of us to introduce themselves so that we know who is who. When you're speaking, just make sure you switch on your mic so that we can hear you. You tell us your name and what you do. We'll start from my right. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Wisdom Chingwede, Chairperson of Media Council of Malawi.
Morning. My name is Horace Nyaka. I'm one of the facilitators here. And I'm chairperson of Baina Media Club. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Shadrach Chikoti. I am head of media writing at the State House, but I'm here representing the Director of Communications at the State House, Mr. Kentin Pepo.
Good morning. My name is Gordon Matonga. I'm the chairperson of Media Institute of Southern Africa, Mr. Malawi.
Good morning. My name is Robot Boy. I'm all-round entertainer from South Africa.
Hi, my name is Calvin, and I manage Robot Boy.
Good morning. My name is Baldwin Chiamwaka. I'm media communications expert or specialist, and I'm a great facilitator for this work conference. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Taonga Bodolo. I'm a media consultant. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Urunji Mezua. I'm a business person.
Good morning. My name is Melvin Kadewere. I'm with Headlines.
Good morning. My name is Taps Bandawe. I'm Managing Director of Go Mountain Media and a media influencer.
Good morning. My name is Duncan Mulangira. I represent Nyasa Times and the Marav Express.
Next, please switch on your mic.
Good morning. I'm Lefson Instagambewa. I work with different music artists.
Good morning. My name is Frola Suya, producer Neptune Productions.
Tendai Shah, media consultant.
Next table, please.
Alex Botta, principal media officer, State House.
Good morning. My name is Master Chirunjiva, State House.
Good morning. My name is Mese Kalumba, Vision Media.
Good morning. I'm Christina Jigwe, State House.
Good morning. I'm Magodis Dozola from Malawi State.
I'm Bella Nyashabwe, comedian.
Julius Michi, JFM.
Good morning. My name is Vayana Chunga, Times Group.
Good morning. Gondwani Gachambangwera, PIC.
Good morning. I'm Marumbangira from JFM.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joy Natu. I'm a radio DJ and a media influencer.
Good
morning, Virimbigo Nyanjaya from PIC.
We'll move to my left. We'll start from the back.
My name is MacLeod Mtali, representing Radio ABC.
And I'm Tasungana Kazembe. I work for MPC.
Good morning. I'm Fatsani Odara Menyani, Zodiac.
Good morning. My name is Lapitsu Yohane, representing Radio ABC.
Good morning. I'm Mamigo Angel, representing GPS TV.
Good morning. My name is Benson Kamonjora, representing Koma FM.
Good morning. My name is Marianne Nkomba, and I'm a content creator.
Good morning. I'm Edith Kambalami from Nation Newspapers.
Good morning. I'm Fazila Tembo from Nyasa Times.
And I'm Pimpo Mpingenjira from PLFM.
Good morning. I'm Brian Augustus Kanyenda from Channel 4 All Nations Media.
Good morning. I am Tambo Banda from Mafum Promoters.
Good morning. My name is Andrea Tonyoa, a stand-up comedian and social media influencer from Mr. Sorry? Okay, I said from Mr. Joke's company. It's a comedy company.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Julie Mumbe from Malawi Set.
Morning. I'm Ray Harawa, manager Black Missionaries Band.
Good morning. My name is Angel Fumlan, musician.
Good morning. I'm Frank Namangale, a journalist, Nation Newspaper.
Good morning. I'm Brian Itai, a reporter with the Nation Newspapers Limited.
Good morning. I'm Obed Samson, representing Maziko radio station.
Good morning. I'm Williams Gondwa, working with Times Group.
Morning. I'm Pirirani Kachinsiri, Times Group.
Good morning. I'm Lesa Mayanko Sande, Onabanda.
Good morning. I'm Daniel Huone from Makra.
Good morning. I'm Christopher Banda, Malawi Set.
Good morning. I'm Mary Bottomani from Makra.
Good morning. I am Ronald Tembo from the Universal Service Fund.
Good morning. I'm Andrew Nyirenda from Makra.
Morning. I'm Zadziko Makambo from Makra.
Thank you very much. And we have Makra Director General, Mr. Daud Suleiman, and Makra Board Chairperson, Dr. Stanley Kaya. You're most welcome, ladies and gentlemen. At this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite Dr. apologies, Mr. Daud Sleman, who is the Director General for MACRA, to come forward and give us his remarks.
Thank you, Wesley. Actually, it's not the first time that someone has conferred an honorary degree to me on a podium. So, and it also happens that every time that I get this honorary degree as Dr. Suleiman, my board chair is always there. So I hope that this prophecy shall come to pass. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends. It's good seeing a whole lot of you that I think, Mr. Ulaya, you didn't introduce yourself. Can you please do so? And that life is that he's the Chief Risk Officer for National Bank of Malawi. MACRA Board Chairperson, Dr. Stanley Kaira, MACRA Management, and members of staff that are present here. Head of Media Writing, who is representing the Director of Communications at the State House, Mr. Shadrach Chikoti. Lead Facilitator for the Media Influencers Workshop and Communications Expert, Mr. Baldwin Chiamwaka, and your team, Media Institute of Southern Africa, MISA Malawi, the President himself, Mr. Gordon Matonga, our keynote speaker, Robert Y from South Africa, and Kelvin, welcome. Distinguished participants from Malawi, and those that are joining us online across the world, esteemed colleagues from the media fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome you all in a special way to this workshop where we have invited you, media influencers, to be equipped with knowledge on how to address, among other things, the growing issue around fake news. It is a fact that the emergence and proliferation of fake news is a hindrance to the promotion of mindset change through disinformation, misinformation, and rampant fabrication of falsehoods that is online. You will agree with me that Malawi is passing through a wave of distorted information originating from some areas whose tools are especially media forums such as Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp. The influencers that are using Facebook pages, while the public is acquiring their views and they trust those views and they redistribute them. The influencers have the power to set an agenda, and the influencers have the power to set the discourse for all critical issues. Most influencers have now amassed a huge public following, and it is that following that we need to have an idea on how we can nurture and drive through. However, some of the content that is being shared is bringing mixed reactions. Some of them, they lack the justification. Some of them, they don't know the original source of that information. Some of the content is actually infringing copyright rules. Some of your content is actually being infringed for copyright. As digital platforms bring the world to one place in real time, there are new laws that are regulating communications that are also being reviewed at the authority. One such law in Malawi is the Electronic Transactions and Cybersecurity Act. The Act accords equal status between physical transactions, communication, messaging, signatures, and their respective electronic counterparts. In addition, the Act also provides for data protection principles of privacy, security, cybersecurity, and cybercrimes, and their attendant penalties are listed in there. It is unfortunate that in Malawi, it's mostly politicians that have accessed and have activated this law. In so doing, most people have felt that this law was specially designed for politicians, but this is a law that covers everyone that is in Malawi. For instance, by the way of verification or sampling, how many among us have ever heard of the Electronic Transaction and Cybersecurity Law? By show of hands. So you see that I quickly scanned, probably I would say less than 10% are aware that there is this law. You know? So now that is a red check mark on MACRA, because this is one of the founding principles that we exist. There are two laws that we operate on, the Communications Act and the Electronic Transaction and Cybersecurity Act. So for us that have seen or heard about the Electronic Transaction Act, Electronic Transactions and Cybersecurity Act, how many of us have read through that act? And how many of us really understand what that act is saying? Be now out of that 10%, I may also get maybe another 10% from there. So you see that the law that is protecting our online space, the law that is protecting our being and our transactions when we get online, most of us are not aware that there is a law that is protecting that space. So if amongst us we have less than 10% that is understanding this law, now what more the ordinary person that is out there? What more the ordinary person that is in your family WhatsApp group that receives something from you in that family WhatsApp group, and they distribute it to other 10 other forums because, hey, is it right to misunderstand? Because they think you know better. So if you have something misinformed and you send it to the WhatsApp, to your family WhatsApp group, you have your nieces, your nephews, your uncles, your aunties, and they see that, they pick it because they trust in you, and they redistribute. What more if that content was harming? What more if that content was infringing against a certain law? So you can see how far we may be spreading misinformation and disinformation. The Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority has noted that one of the contributing factors of misinformation and fake news is also the lack of knowledge of cyber laws by media influencers, especially most of you that are in here. And your responsibility in verifying the content that you have before you press that post button, verifying the source and verifying the truthness of the content that you have. MACRA will also give a presentation on the Electronic Transaction and Cybersecurity Act to help you further understand what sort of law is there. And the presentation will stress the usage of foul language, hate speech, and many other violations that the public is using on social media to injure others. I've seen some of you, you tag me in your post and you say, hey, Makanja. That's hurting me. The workshop will be managed by experts who articulate issues to bring a desired output that will enable participants to reflect on their rights and responsibilities in line with the resultant consequences. Key word there, the resultant consequences. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite the board chairperson, Dr. Stanley Kaira, to officially open the workshop. May God bless you. May God bless Malawi. Thank you.
Thank you, DG, for writing this two-page speech for me. Thank you very much. It's difficult to read these speeches. So when it's 2 pages, it's much appreciated. It is 2 pages. This is introductions. The other 2 pages are these. It's a good one. So those of you from press, from State House, learn from this. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me recognize in a special way the MACRA Director General, Mr. Dawoodi Suleiman, and the MACRA management and members of staff that are present in this conference. I realize there's also Head of Media Writing, Representative Director of Communications at State House, Shadrick Shikoti. Thank you very much. As the lead facilitator for the Media Influencers Workshop and Communications Expert, Mr. Baldwin Chamaka. And your team, by the way, it's good we are meeting again. Chamaka and I come from a long time. The Media Institute of Southern Africa, Mr. Malawi, the president is here. Our keynote speaker, Robert Boy from South Africa. Can you just raise your hand? The time you were introducing yourselves, I couldn't see you where you were sitting. Takulandirani. Takulandirani. Thank you. Distinguished participants from Malawi and those joining us online from across the board, the esteemed colleagues from the media, ladies and gentlemen. So, if you were to talk about media influencers, let's say in 1950 or 1960, who would that be? Think about it. Because the media that we see today is very recent. In fact, in this country, even if you come all the way to 1990, you cannot talk about the media the way we know it today. So, I feel greatly honored to stand before you this morning at the start of this 2-day Media Influencers Workshop that is organized by MACRA under the theme Media Influencers, Impact and Responsibilities. I realize the DG tried to give examples on how media can have impact, can influence, and also shape us into being responsible citizens. I know in a country, for example, not here, where the impact of radio, for example, is created, manufactured, framed by those people who control that radio. In some countries, they have radio call-in programs, and they already identify people who are going to speak because of the views those people have. Fortunately, this doesn't happen in Malawi. But sometimes that orchestrated kind of call-in program can have disastrous consequences. That's how you can influence the media. I have seen on the program that there will be a presentation relating to images and many other things that we create for our own country. It's in our hands. If we want to create an image of Malawi as beggars, and that's what it will be. Some of you on WhatsApp, you're creating an image of Malawians as full of an inferiority complex. I just see it, I read it, I say, oh, okay, so this is who we are. You're creating these images because you have influence, you are influencers. And personally, I think we need to be careful about this. I'm aware that this workshop is part of awareness campaign in the fight against fake news, and it is the second of its kind in this country. We had a similar workshop last year in December where we were targeting the media. This time around, we are targeting media influencers and influential individuals to ensure that they are aware of their responsibilities when using digital technologies and the laws that apply in relation to the Electronic Transactions and Cybersecurity Act 2016. I ask you a question. If this was 1950, what would media influencers look like? In my time, Analantu or Gomabao, boy, if I'm speaking over you, ask people to tell you what I'm saying. It's a game we play in the villages. And usually that's where influencers are. Even today, they tell us, there are people who are just expert in telling stories, whether the stories are true, factual, or they have just made them up, you will never know that. They're very good. How many of you have played Bao? Oh, so I'm the only one who knows about this Bao thing. You got it, Bao. But those are in the villages as I'm talking right now. That's where the influencers are. So I challenge DG that beyond the current media we are talking about, we should also think on how we can shape these influencers. Ladies and gentlemen, ICT has changed the communication landscape with the introduction of social media platforms, the ones that the DG mentioned, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then TikTok. They are gaining traction as the leading forms of attaining and exchanging information. These platforms have given room for opinion leaders who are also referred to as media influencers to engage and raise critical voices. And if these critical voices help us to move forward in development, that's good. But if they are intended to keep us where we are or even move us steps backwards, then it's very unfortunate. From the definition, what we are talking of media influencers, these should be individuals or online publications that have a huge following on social media platforms and sway public opinion. However, with high levels of interaction and exchange of information, the digital world is facing or is faced with misinformation and the sharing of fake news. As MACRA continues to make steady progress towards achieving a digitally transformed nation through the implementation of its strategic plan of 2022 to 2026, and as it is obliged to ensure that ICT advances to higher levels in line with Malawi 2063 agenda, which has placed ICT as its backbone. Ladies and gentlemen, it is hoped that this knowledge will be a catalyst for mindset change, which will translate into telling the Malawi story that will create a pathway to achieving Vision 2063. Maybe this needs to be read again, because this is really the heart of the matter. There's no point in influencing opinion that detracts us from the development path. After all, this is the only ship, boat that we are in, and we need to be steering it towards achieving the targets that we intend to do. So, definitely, we do hope that this knowledge will be a catalyst for mindset change, which will translate into telling the Malawi story that will create a pathway to achieving our Vision 2063. If this is what we can do, then we are all good to go. It is therefore becoming inevitable that media influencers are becoming an important instrument in promoting national discourse and narrative. In other words, the Malawi story can better be told by Malawian media influencers who are Malawians themselves. And this, therefore, is the key strategic aim of this conference. I further would want to invite you not to only be active participants, but also positively share your ideas and thoughts for the workshop to be successful and attain its aim. With these many remarks, I declare this meeting officially opened, and I would like to wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A big hand for both the DG and the board chairperson. Keyword from both speeches, responsibility. So our media influencers, we expect you to be responsible when posting on your pages. This is why we are here today. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to acknowledge the presence of Media Council of Malawi President, Mr. Wisdom Chinkwede. Apologies, Mr. Chinkwede. I've seen some new faces walking in after we've done the introductions. Can you just please introduce yourselves? Just switch on the mic on your tables. Tell us your name and what you do. Thank you.
I'm Chawinga Flanke, ndinoimba, ndineso influencer.
Thank you.
Gerard Chavez Kampanikisa, a social media influencer.
And I am Dennis Imani,
I host Podcast Malawi, and I'm also an influencer.
Thank you.
And my name is Madali Tsopiri. I work for Zodiac Broadcasting Station. Thank you.
I'm Jenny Chilumampunga from SABC.
I'm Andrew Gazonda, a reporter from Chisomo Radio.
Adson Henga, Minister of Formation.
I'm Samuel Kumambala from the Mississippi Media Team.
Thank you. I think we are done. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you want to post something from this workshop, use the following hashtags: media influencers, or impact and responsibilities, or MACRA MW. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, allow me to invite each one of us to go outside for a group photograph. My colleague Sad will lead us. Sad, just stand by the door so that we see you. Yes, let us follow Sadi and we go outside for a group photograph. After that, we'll have media interviews. Then we'll break for tea. We should be back here after 20 minutes. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let us make it quick. Let us go outside for a group photo.
1, 2. Of course, yes. By the way.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I think we can proceed with our program. But maybe before we do that, I've seen some new faces again coming in. Can I ask those who have not introduced themselves to do so now, before I invite our lead facilitator, Mr. Chiamwaka, to come forward? Just switch on the mic and tell us your name and what you do.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tana Harawa. I'm well known as Mr. Broken English. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Priscilla Kairansane. I am a TV personality.
Hello, good morning. My name is Temwa Gondwe. I am a musician and artist. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let me invite, okay, there's a hand at the back.
Good morning, beautiful ladies and very handsome gentlemen. My name is Skefa Mlongoti Chimoto, an artist, music artist. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jessica Banda. I'm a television personality, but I'm here on behalf of Goshen Media, on behalf of Prophet Shepherd Bashiri.
Thank you very much. Let me invite Mr. Chiamwaka to come forward. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning once again. Yeah, thank you. I maintain all the protocols that were recognized, made this morning. Of course, recognizing the chairperson of the MACRA board, the Director General of MACRA, and your team, your staff. But also, let me just introduce also my colleagues, my fellow facilitators, Mr. Horace Nyaka. Just raise your hand and people can see you, and Mr. Benson Linje. Thank you. And of course, everyone else. We are not yet into presentations. We just want to set the stage by gauging expectations. What are you expecting from this conference? But before I do that, let me just share with you the objectives. What do we want to achieve by the end of this conference? Number one, we want you to be able to refresh, to be able to have a whole list of your roles and responsibilities as a digital or media influencers and opinion leaders, especially those of you who, almost everyone now uses, digital technologies. That's number one. What are the roles? What are the responsibilities? You already know, but sometimes it's also good to reflect and then to learn a little bit more. But also, you should be able, conversant with the laws that apply in relation to Electronic Transaction and Cyber Security Act. There will also be a session that touches on hate speech, which is more or less related to this act, the Electronic Transaction and Cyber Security Act. We also want to generate ideas on ways of building a media literate citizen. I think Benson will be talking about the new media consumption. How do people now consume media products, especially those that are transmitted digitally or they are computer mediated? And we'll also look at managing fake news. Horace will be taking us into how to manage and combat fake news. We'll look at the power that you have what kind of power. We want to assess, analyze, and evaluate the power that media influencers do have, and how we can harness that power that media influencers do have. We'll go on to looking at the changing digital and news landscape, so that we know where we are and what we anticipate and where we are going. And finally, also to look at nation branding. The DG chair, the chair Makra mentioned something about branding. You have a critical role, a crucial role, an enormous role in branding Malawi as a nation, but also in telling the beautiful yet untold stories of Malawi. And we'll delve into that, discussions, and of course also presentations. We may talk a little bit about, as social media influencers or media influencers or influencers, how you can also prop up national identity, national image, and so on and so on. And finally, we also want you to be conversant with the state and impact of your work on national peace and security. Ben will also take us through that process. So these are objectives, not stated as objectives as such, but perhaps outlined, an outline of what we are going to cover during the 2 days that will be together. At that point, you have been invited to this conference, which is one of a kind, and it's a huge opportunity for all of us. I would like now to hear from you. What are your expectations? What specific issues are you expecting? And you'd like the facilitators and the organizers to meet in the middle or to respond to your needs. Please press your mic and share your expectations with us. So, what are you expecting? What menu do you want to enjoy during the conference? Hello. I know you have expectations. Can you share your expectations? What are you expecting?
All right, I think for me, it's more of how each one in the house is using media platforms that they have, that they use, to basically influence how we develop or how we move forward as a country. I think most of the times there's so much complaints, there's so much negativity about Malawi as a country. I think we have a background of saying, okay, the poorest country, and we enjoy that. And as media influencers, it's how is everyone using the platform and their following to change that narrative into more of possibilities or optimism. And also, on the other part is how everyone can assist in tackling hate speech, basically. And I think because there are a lot of people that somehow, when they have a bigger following, people start to think they don't have emotions, they can say anything. How is everyone tackling that? And now, as a community, how could we help stop that? So it's basically optimism about changing the narrative of Malawi as a country, and how everybody could add into the conversation of countering hate speech. And yeah,
that's a very wonderful expectation, where everybody, we hear from everybody, or everybody tries to bring ideas how we move forward as a country in terms of changing the narrative. Your observation is that there is so much negativity, and how do we convert that into something positive as we move forward? Thank you very much. Yes, Gordon, Mr. Chair.
Once again, coming as I've already indicated from a media advocate organization, and also a freedom of expression and free speech advocate group in general. So For me, I think key interest is in terms of how to ensure that when we are having this conversation around ensuring that we're having responsible discussions on online platform, on other media platforms, how are we ensuring that, again, we are safeguarding the very right that is anchoring that responsibility, that is right of expression. So I'm very much interested in listening to the discussion around the cyber security initiatives by Daniel, which is coming later on, and on day 2. So I think that I would like to see what are we doing to ensure that all of us are also making sure that we are aware of the right policies and we are enacting right policies that guarantees the right of to expression. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Gordon, for raising that expectation. So we are looking at enjoyment of freedom of expression, which is there, and on which we all stand as media influencers, because that's what we use as a right. But at the same time, we have also a law on the other hand. How do we marry these two? And in the middle, there is a responsibility. Thank you. Yes, there is a hand there, please.
One of my expectations is to see some sort of effort at the end of this conference or workshop of media influencers coming together in terms of unity and coordination towards matters of national interest. And these are non-political causes. For example, we had Cyclone Freddy recently. How can social influencers, coordinate their work towards the good of the people and the nation?
Thank you very much. Actually, one of the broad objectives in the original concept note that brought us together is also to explore how we can form partnerships as social media influencers, and how we can also partner with other institutions, government agencies, and so on and so forth as we work as media influencers. So that's a very important expectation. Any further? Yes, please.
I'm Onabanda, entrepreneur, media influencer. I'm expecting that by the end of, whether today or tomorrow, what MACRA is doing to edify those individual media influencers, or how can we help each other? Because not as an organization, but the individual media influencers. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is an opportunity. It's a platform where we can interact and also encourage each other, share ideas.
Yeah, just
but
a bit,
it can
just
also
a
be
bit,
sustained.
Badru.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I think amene tingomasuka amene angafuna kumayankhula chichewa, just in case.
Okay, good.
Feel free. Amene angafuna kuyankhula chichewa palibe vuto lina lililonse. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a very, very important reminder and encouragement. Thanks so much, Horace, for that. So feel free to speak, to use Chichewa or English, but also, yeah, you can use Yawo, you can use Sena, you can use Tumbuka. Let's feel free to speak, and I'm sure we'll be able to get what you want to communicate. Please, the floor is still open for now. Any further expectations? Yes, please.
Yes, I'm particularly interested in seeing media being used to build. As Goshen City Trust, we're looking at building and not breaking communities and individuals. And our observation has been that media is used as a place to break down, fight, bicker, and speak negatively about each other, not just in Malawi, but across the board. I'm also interested in seeing individuals growing and people being famous or popular for actual causes, not just posting all day, but posting for a cause or communicating effectively for something that can benefit other people beyond just raking up numbers. So I'd like to see an actual upward movement and growth. Thank you.
Thank Thank you very much. And I'm sure we will learn a lot from our keynote speaker, Robert Boy. He's going to exemplify that, how we can be constructive, how we can build societies, and how you guys, I'm sure in the sessions that will be going, you realize something that perhaps up to now, you don't know the worth that you have and how you can convert it. So Robert will share examples of how best we can build our societies, how we can convert the power, the enormous power that influences have into something that can be used for everyone to enjoy. I think we should stop there unless there is a burning expectation. So we go on with the program. Yeah, may I hand over back to the MC, please, Tuonge. You are here. Okay. Yeah, let me invite Mr. Daudi Suleiman, Dr. Daudi Suleiman. I should flow in the same spirit, eh? But you are sitting next to and by the way, it's also good when you are talking to media influencers, we talk about personal stories, isn't it? Personal stories are very powerful. I am standing in front or before my mentor. One of my leadership mentors is Dr. Kaira. He was chairperson of Farm Radio Trust. I was his vice, and when he was leaving, I took over from him. And perhaps that's why I can tower above all of you, not scared, because he taught me good. Okay, Mr. Daudi Suleiman, please, you are most welcome, and come and take the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Bodwin. Good morning once again. I feel proud to stand in front of my colleagues, my friends, people that I've grown up with, people that I've worked with. Apparently, I have a few lives. I'm like a cat. So before this life of DG, once upon a time, I was in the music jungle, in the music industry. Worked with a good number of you, TAPS. We set up a company together called Nyimbo Music Company, somewhere around 2008, 2009. Yeah, we started Matumela, Lulu and Matumela Band. Yeah. And you, we've worked together a whole lot of time. Skefa, the first time that Collar Tunes came to Malawi, Airtel put up Skefa songs as Collar Tunes. And Skefa was not happy about that. And he wasn't happy with me. So together we went to Airtel to see what was happening. A few musicians back in the days, Levi, where's Levi? Sagambe. Yes, yes. We opened up Facebook profiles, Facebook pages for a number of musicians, and they were not happy. And they were not happy. I'll mention one of them, Lucius Banda. They were not happy, and they told us to put that page down. So we insisted, no, you need this. And I'm glad that today I see that page, that he is very active using that page now. So that's the growth that we have seen as a country. We are coming from where we were using traditional media. Now, talwano kuza digital. Now, that digital is easy, pamene zili, ndi pamene ifeyo tili ngati dziko. Tili patipo. Tikuiona game imene kuendera. Tikuziona zinthu zikumene zikulowera. Kapena tangonyamulidwa muchikamvulumvulu chimene chichi. Ndeti ngopita nawo ngati tidzitsotso. So kamvulumvulu amalowera uku, tidzitsotso timakagwera kuti kumbali kwinawo. Kodi muza digital izizi. Mulimane mmeneyo. Muza digital izizi. Zitakuteka. Zama social media izizi. Zitakuteka. So ntchito yanga ku Makra ndikuonetsetsa kuti ndikupanga zimene bodi ya Makra ikufuna. Bodi ya Makra ikufuna kuti amalawi ambiri azipanga za digital. Akamapanga za digital akhale otetezedwa, akhalenso akupeza phindu muza digital mu. Komano vuto ndira kuti tilipo ochepa amene tikupanga za digital kuwerekeza ndi maiko ena. Maiko ena anthu ambiri akumapanga za digital. Kumalawi kuno tilipo ochepa. Mochepamo gulu limene likuoneka kuti likupanga zinthu zambiriko anthu ake ndi inuyo amene pachizungu mumatchedwa kuti social media influencers. Ndiye ndikulankhulani kudzera ma website awiri. Website yoyamba, I think if you can play this now. Website yoyamba so GSMA ndi bungwe limene aliyense amene ali ndi license yopanga za mobile phone pa dziko lapansi ndi membala wa bungwe limene GSMA. Mabungwe onse amene amapereka ma license kwa anthu kuti apange za mafoni am'manja ndi mamembala a bungwe limene GSMA. So GSMA pa dziko lonse lapansi amatolera data ya dziko lina lililonse nkuliunjika pamodzi ndikumaunika kuti kodi zikuyenda bwanji. So chimene amayang'ana iwowa kwambiri ndi chakuti nkhani za internet, nkhani za communication, wina aliyense pa dziko lapansi akuyenera kuti adzipanga nawo izizi za digital tukambazi. Wina aliyense, so kaya uli kumidzi, kaya uli mtawuni, kaya ndi wamtali, kaya ndi wamfupi, ukuyenera kumapanga nawo za digitals. Nchifukwa chake bungwe limene likuyang'ana mobile connectivity index kuti kodi pa dziko lapansi zikuyenda bwanji, komanso dziko lina lililonse palokha likupanga bwanji. So website iyi imapanga track yambira 2014 mpaka na 2022. I think angochotsapo komano last week panayiso data ya 2023. So panopo mmene mukuchiona chithunzi chimenecho mukamaona green kwambiri ndio kuti kumene koko azamanazo kwambiri za digitals za mobile phone azamanazo. Kumene mukuona kubiriwira koperewirako pang'ono ndio kuti kumene koko azama koma sanazame kwambiri. Kumene mukuona koyera olimbeko kumene kondoti amenewo ali mmambuyo akuyenera kuti azitolere afike ku mtunda. Ndiye mutha kuona apapa kuti Malawi tili apa. Yeah? In 2022, Malawi index score 34.2 Malawi. Yeah? Now, tuone aneba Zambia 43.7. Tuone aneba Tanzania 45.6. So you even see that the coloring is different. Malawi is a bit lighter. Zambia and Tanzania are greener. Mozambique 34.5. Kwadi manamba amenewa akuchokera kuti. So if I click on Malawi, you see now there is infrastructure here. Infrastructure. Kwadi zipangizo zoti ntchito za mafoni am'manja za internet za data zitha kugwiritsidwa ntchito. Ku Malawiko zipangizo zilipo infrastructure. So tili pa 50. So muona so tikalika green kusonyeza kuti tiliwero. Affordability 1-2. Affordability tili pa 20. Komano iyi nchifukwa ine maneno kuti ndi data ya 2020 koma data ya 2023 ababa we've made some significant progress. Ndipo ndizoona munomo takhala muno ndi angati akukhulupirira kuti kuchoka chaka cha 2022 kufika 2023 data tsopano is affordable by show of hands. That data is affordable. No, we are being honest. It's a national conversation. Kuchokera chaka cha 2022 kufika chaka chino data is affordable by show of hands. So we've made some significant progress there. So we've moved from that 20%. Consumer readiness. Kodi anthu amene akuma peza katundu, anthu amene akuma gwiritsa ntchito internet, mafoni am'manja, kuti apange ma business, akuzitolera bwanji zinthu zimene, akuzidziwa bwanji. So kumalawi kuno 50%. Now, nkhani yayikulu no ili hapana. Content and services. Content. Kodi mafoniwa, zinthu zimene zili mmafoni ndi zotani, zilimo zingati. Komanso munthu akaitenga foni ija akaigwira, kodi kugwiritsa ntchito foni ija atha kupanga chiyani ku Malawi? So muona kuti pamenepo 26%. Ndiyeno muone kwa neighbor. Remember kuti tikusiyana ndi Zambia paja. Zambia ili 43, ife tili 30 chakuti. But this is 20. So maona neighbor, infrastructure 50, ifeso tinali 50. Remember ndakuti ndi Zambia tili limodzi yetu. Affordability about 34, if it not 20, koma I said kuti mudata imene tapanga upgrade panopo, if you in Zambia, actually we are cheaper than Zambia now. Consumer readiness. Anthu amene akumagwira phone, ndikuyigwiritsa ntchito phone ija kuti apeze chinthu. Akudziwa bwanji kuyigwiritsa ntchito phone ija kuti atha kupeza ndi chimene akufuna pa phone. 56%. Content and services. Kodi anthu akumaponya zinthu zotani pa phone. Komanso mafoni aja muli zinthu zingati zimene anthu atha kugula ndi kugulitsa. Muona kuti Zambia ili 38. Ife apa tinali chama 20. You remember? So keep that Malawi number. Now let's go to Tanzania. Tanzania score 45.6. Infrastructure 55. So you can see kuti pankhani infrastructure siti kusiyana. Kutanthauza kuti zimene zili ku Tanzania ndi zimene zili ku Zambia ndi zimene zili ku Malawi muzipangizo dus tilimozi right? Affordability 34. Remember if it's kuma 20, but I'm saying kuti yachaka chino we've gone to 30 chakuti. So we are almost there. Consumer readiness. Mwaona Tanzania anthu akamakhala pa phone kumayigwira phone ija akutha kudziwa chimene atha kupeza mu phone moja. Komanso atha kuzungulira bwinobwino ndi phone yawo ndi kupeza chinthu. Akalandira chinthu akumatha kudziwa kuti ichi nchabodza, ichi ndi chenicheni, ichi ndithogwiritsa ntchito, ichi sindingathogwiritsa. Anthu amene wet. Content and services. Mwaona Tanzania 45. Now, tiye tibwerere ku Malawi. So infrastructure, Airtel, TNM, Malawi government, tabanga manetwork anafika vina valiposi, tili bwinobwino. Affordability, titsitsebe ntengo, wa data komanso titsitse ntengo wa ma smart devices. Eti? Consumer readiness, talimbikitsa Malawi, amvetsetse kuti tsopano kugwiritsa ntchito phone, atha kupanga zinthu zothandizira moyo wawo tsiku ndi tsiku. Content and services, pamene vono ndeti chedwepo. So apapa, nde pamene pali vuto. Kwacha kuti olokotita tsitsa data, olokotita panga kuti Malawi inali yese timpatse smartphone ya ulere. Vuto limene limakhalapo ndakuti tonse tikangogwira phone ija, timapita nayo phone ija ku facebook.com. Tonse tikangogwira phone ija ndi WhatsApp. Tikadina WhatsApp ija ndoti ndi forward. Kapena kuti jambule chituzi uchitumize kwa anthu ena. Zinthu zosakupindulira. Zinthu zoti iweyo you are just being conduit. Data ija kumangodutsa bwero kupita. Ndiye ndikuonetseti zimene zimachitika zija. ndi ake a kampani yotchedwa Facebook onetseni kuti mane yawo imachokera kuti kapena amapanga bwanji. I have to remember what you report against it. Komano, the point I was driving at is good. Facebook, ima to gritsa nchito ifenga tikatundu wa mustolo kumati gulitsa. I hope one says. Ifeyo nde katundu amene amagulitsidwa. So zimene mmaponya zija iniyo mukugulitsa. Facebook imatenga zimene zija ndikukazika kwa otsatsa malonda. Facebook imakachaja otsatsa malonda aja ndikupanga ndalama. Facebook ndikusunga ndalama ija. Pamene iwe amene umapanga content ija wapeza jani zero. Tilimozi pamene. So content nkhani ili apapa ya content and services. Tikwena tisunthe tichokepo mayiona social media ngati socials. Tifike kuti tidziona social media ngati a revenue generating platform. Fika pamene ndikuti tiyambano kuti dziko linolo nkhani ili apa ya content and services tikakuti tikutukuka tikupita patsogolo. Ofuso nkumati kodi muli ndalama umu kodi munthu uthadi kumapanga ndalama zogwirika bwinobwino mu za social media zi. So mamona zathu I mentioned about Tanzania. Kuloyimba ku Tanzania amachedwa Diamond Platinum. Gesa mapanga ndalama zingati kudzera mu social media pachaka. Anyone? So let's see. So, next month revenue, Diamond Platinum's net worth for July 2023, 90,000 US dollars from official social media platforms. Now, tukusiana party between Tanzania and Malawi. Population-wise, Tanzania is what now? 30, should be somewhere around 35 million, if I'm not mistaken. Population-wise, Malawi, 20 million. Population-wise, Zambia, 17, 18 million. Population-wise, Zimbabwe, 14, 15 million. Malawi, 20 million. So you can see what it in there and hambi. So the issues of the economic status and what have you will play in, but the major difference that we're seeing there is good as in Zatu. Kapasika, content and service, but digital services. So let's take a bad example of South Africa. I'm saying a bad example because they're an outlier. They're quite ahead. They're quite ahead than the rest of us. Look at that lower bar. You see? So Kelvin, we won't ask about Robot Boy, but how much does Boiti make via her social media platforms, roughly?
Let's put it like this. She essentially can average about 150 to 250,000 a month.
That's US dollars, huh?
Sorry, no, correction. That will be in rands,
In rand.
right? So if you then calculate that over the 12 months, because then she'll run multiple campaigns, which an average of 3 to 4 brands at one time.
So that would be about two rate. $64. 2.00. Where are we going to date? But let's just say 2 million times 60. That's what? 120 million. 120 million Malawi kwacha. Kungoponya zinthu pamajani pama Facebook. So remember I said Gudi, we are using South Africa as a bad example. Yeah, it's an outlier. But then look at the infrastructure status of South Africa. 68. Malawi was 54. So there's a difference of about 10. So we're not far off. Affordability, South Africa is 54. We're at 20. But we've moved to 30. So we are not that far. Consumer readiness. Now they've hit 80%. Till the most valuable. So utanthoza kuti anthu aja amene akumalandira content aja, anthu aja amene akumagwira ntchito ndi phone aja, akudziwa zochita kuti atha kupanga chani. And then most importantly, content and services. Content iso imene kumapita pamene popoyo ndiyoti singopanga za mchezo zongoti basi bwata phuli bora ndachiponya ndachiphulitsa. But everything that they're posting is calculated because they know every post is money. Every post is money. Now, an example. Look back at your posts. You see that the most that you had more or more likes was actually something that was controversial, something that was funny, something that was out that side. Versus the post that you made, that you were trying to sell a product or you were endorsing something. Look at how many likes we get. It's because our consumer readiness hasn't moved. So whose job is that? It is our job. It is our job to actually shift the direction of social media from being social to make it a transactional space where every post that you make is transactional. It must communicate. You must expect that value be created out of that, and you must get value out of that. Either way, value could be money or value could be in kind. So we have a situation where we have 12 million SIM cards in Malawi. 12 million SIM cards. As of last week, we did a recount of smartphones. We are now at smartphones. When you look at Facebook, we are sitting about 700 social media accounts in Malawi. Active at 90 days, you are about 15,000. So 15,000 in every 3 months are posting. A lot of people are going on Facebook just to read. They are not posting. So from 2 million to 12 million, but the gap we are 10 million. And to 10 million, I mean, are in the phone. Amabanga, hello, bye. Amabanga, SMS. Amalandira SMS. They can send an SMS, they can receive an SMS. Alipo, 10 million. But unto 2 million, I mean, I'm at google.com, and we sell this, and so we need to move so that Antuawawa, Abiteso would go to digital space. Koda Antuameneo, I in the money, Antuameneo, I in the drama. So let's look at this. Let's look at this report. So report si ya ku Makra, report ndi ya ku Reserve Bank of Malawi. Reserve Bank of Malawi tracks every kwacha that is moving in this country, both hard and digital. Now, remember where I'm coming from. I'm saying good it in my SIM card 12 million Malawi. My SIM card 12 million ameno to funa done odi and ameno alindi ndalama, alindi money. So this report is tracking various payment platforms. These are digital platforms. So every time that a payment was made using a digital platform, that was recorded to Reserve Bank. So the Reserve Bank records kodindi kangati anthu apanga ndondomeko yogwiritsa ntchito magina a internet kapena phone kuti alipire kapena kugula zinthu. Ndipo ndi ndalama zochuluka motani zimene anthu amenewa azisuntha-suntha. So transaction flows in various payment system channels. Kodi ndi ndalama zaenda motani mu njira zosiyana-siyana zimene anthu akutogwiritsa ntchito polipira kapena kugula zinthu Malawi. Chachikulu choti ndimafuna kuti muone ndi apa. Mobile payments. Chifukwa ife sinanga ife ndamaka ife za mobiles ndiye timazitsata kwambiri. So mobile payments. Pali magulu awiri. Bank rate, kusonyeza kuti system imeneyo aine yake ndi ya bank. Kenako inayo ndi non-bank. Kutanthauza kuti aine yake system imeneyo si bank. So awoyambirirawa ndi mo 626 FCB *444# is online from NBS Bank. So whenever you use a mobile app from a bank, they are tracking you above. Right? So now, chaka cha 2021. Now, if you tend to own nani bank, because nani bank is where you could say, right? Muchaka cha 2021 mu December. Pana sunta 4 billion. Drama is 4 billion. Where's in a sunta? I don't know if my numbering is correct. Yes. Now, muchaka cha 2022, miezi 12. 2021, kupita 2022 yet. Tajoka pa 4 billion, tafika pa 6.7 billion. Over 50% of the value within 1 year. To be more, eh? Now, what did Rama's menace? Remember, and I should think, not Midas. Here, non-bank mobile money payment. Subscribers for non-bank, Mpamba ndi Airtel Money. Mpamba ndi Airtel Money stood at 12.2 million. 12.2 million, you've got the SIM card, you said, ipanga KYC, ku Airtel ndikuti name, ama itsegwira mobile. Ndikuta wawa, ndi ma SIM card amene anapangidwa KYC, anayikidwa pa network imene. And it represented a 14% increment. So it's a good reason to suggest that. And have been out with some phone and a jurukira. So pano riba 12.2 million. Come on, remember, 2 million are the smartphone. Come up 10 million, I'll use a more sewari. Come on, how many are? Akutumiza, ndukumalandira ndala. Akutumiza, ndukumalandira ndala. Hani egulu, ndiyakuti trend. Kodi zikukhala bwanji. Anthu oyinda ndi mafoni, koma zikukhala bwanji. So munga noti kalaini kwa kakupita mwamba kusonyeza kuti zikuchulukira. Kagwiritsidwe ntchito ka anthu amene ndi mose walero potumiza ndi kulandira ndalama ku phone zikuchuluka, zikukwera. Tilimodzi pamenepo. Sano palino nkhani. Nkhani if ipanga ilumikizana ndi nkhani ja content and service inali kuja. Kodi anthu amene wawa akumatani? Akumagwiritsa ntchito chiyani? So pona kuti pali ma commission, anthu akumalandira ma commission, akumalipira ma merchant, muona kuti kakukula ndithu about 3-4%. Mabusiness akumatumizirana ndalama, business to business, B2B, muona kuti ndi transaction yayikulu. Third party, muona kuti kakang'ono kwambiri. Ma third party ndi ngati kunoko ku Mount Sochi, kuti alandire kudzera pa Mpamba, pa Airtel Money, tayika pamene. Person to person, anthu kutumizirana, muona kuti ka graph kake kakula. So, nkhani imene ndifuna ndifotokoze pano ndiyo tichani. Kuti akuluakulu kuli mafoni. Koma kuti ndalama zimenezo zibwere mu foni zimene zikuchitika. Mbe kumayiona foni yake ngati utha kubwera kudzatenga nawo ndalama izizi. Ndalama izi zili apapazi zikufunika kuti tilimbikitse apa. Tilimbikitse apa. So ndalama zilipo, ifeyo zimene tikupanga sizikuthawana bwinobwino ndalama zija kuti zitani kuti zibwere. So tikamapanga content yathu ifeyo ngati Amalawi, nkhani ina yayikulu ndiye kuti tikumayang'ana Malawi ngati audience yathu. Chimene tikumayiwala ndi chakuti Malawi yale apayo, Tanzania, mbali yonse ya Tanzania iyi amamva zilankhulo zathu, titholankhwana nawo bwinobwino. Zambia yenseyo timamvana bwinobwino chinyanja. Zimbabwe, 6 koloko iliyonse ku Zimbabwe pa national radio yawo pamakhala nkhani mchichewa. Amadziwa zimenezo ndinda daily ku Zimbabwe amanena kuti nkhani mchichewa. Zimbabwe yenseyo uyale apa. Tsiku lililonse kuchoka ku Malawi kunoko kuli mabasi 8 amapita ku South Africa. Basi iliyonse imanyamula mwina 8. Ndati ndi anthu mwina 250 amene amapita ku South Africa tsiku lililonse. Ku South Africa kuli Amalawi amene sali documented roughly around 8 million. So let's start 8 million. Titenge mwina 5 million ya ku Zimbabwe 23. Titenge mwina 5 million ya ku Zambia 28. Titenge 20 million yonse ya ku Malawi. Tilipa 45 million. Titenge ka 1 million kakutiko kaku Tanzania. So you are looking at an audience of 50 million. Chimene mmapanga ino chicha. Pala anthu 50 million amene atha kujimva ndi kumvetsetsa zimene mwanena. Koma vuto lathu ndi kuti content yathu je tikamayipanga tikumayang'ana za local za Malawi. Tilimoza pamene in the digital space the markets have broadened. In the digital space your consumer is not a Malawian. Your consumer is anyone who is digitally enabled and active. So you have your content that can be consumed by Nigerians, by Asians, by Americans. A good example, Line Ho, TikTok challenge, Gides Chalamanda. It went viral. It went viral. It's amassed over 105 million views. 105 million views. Agida anapanga ndalama zingati wewe? 0. So Kelvin, if I artist and I uploaded something on my socials and I hit 105 million views, roughly, how much money would I have made?
Just for clarity, so you did one post?
Yeah, one post.
And you got 105 million views?
On one post.
On one post?
Yeah.
If you've just woken up and done that post, that's not connected, it would depend if it's connected to a brand or not, you wouldn't get any revenue from that.
If it was connected to a brand?
If it's connected to a brand, 105 million, yeah, you could average anything between 200,000 to 300,000 just for that post alone.
Okay. So you see, the gaps are there, but it's us who are not tampering with the gaps to close them so that we can do a digital-enabled economy. Malawi is one of the LDCs, LDC, least developed countries. in the Doha Plan of Action, that was about 3-4 months ago, digitalization was singled out as the most important tool poor countries should use to graduate. So in the digital space, you can now compete with anyone else equally. But it is up to us. So 50 million here, it means my blacks, that's your audience, all of that. Skefa, all those are your audience. On Aband, what you do, your financial services and what have you, all these people, because it's money, it's credit and debit. What you're saying would relate to 5 million people in South Africa. It would relate to people in Zambia. Flora, your movies, whatever you're producing, it's not Lilongwe BICC where you can just go and premiere, but all of this is now your market. Because in all these places, there are mobile phones, and people are consuming this content. So if as Malawians, let us be deliberate. If as content creators, let us be deliberate. Let's move from seeing social, let's go to being transactional. Because this is where everyone else is going. Achina diamond aja, if you ask me, put diamond there, put Lulu there, Lulu will kill diamond. You know? But they've managed to congregate the East Africa market, Uganda, DRC, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Kenya. That is one market. So when Diamond releases something, it goes viral in those areas. And that's where they're making their money, because it's not just Tanzania, but it's now East Africa community. So if so, let us be deliberate. I like what Namading was trying to do. I like that, because that is the only way that we can congregate these markets into one. Chichewa is cutting across a number of countries. There's power in Chichewa, because people in South Africa can understand you. There are people in South Africa that will understand you. In Zimbabwe, they will understand you. In Zambia, they will understand you. In parts of Mozambique and parts of Tanzania, they will understand you. So your content, Mr. Jokes, zimene mapangazi. Samayone ngati joko ije ndi anthu ava namalimwe basi anthu akulilo ngakuplanta. No. That joke anthu ku Tanzania atakuipeza popola zachitika chonchi. So tikamapanga nkinichi tiyambe kumaiganizira from that level, because data ikuonetsa kuti potential ilipo, matools tili nawo, tikufanana ndi maiko enawo. Pamene tikulephera ndipoti inuyo no guys, inuyo zimene mukupanga sizikupusha towards this. So from the regulator point of view, we are here to support you. We are here to help you to get to there, because we believe it's the digital space that is going to make a huge difference in this country. Agrigaja sizitega so izizia. Achina Fred wazinkubwera chani sotika peteleza muntaka muja Fred abwera akokolola zose zicha kumapita nazo. But if we spend enough money and invest in the digital space, we enable our people to understand what it is. In your content creators, you're creating content that is deliberate and you're targeting that digital space. We can mechanize and automate ulimi. We can mechanize and automate medicines and health services. We can mechanize and automate, digitize education. Content you actually do have, you know. Mafana sa kupita ku school you've got COVID at say. Kwa code my digital platforms are libo bwino. Guys would kids would still use digital platforms in a rural setting to continue doing school. So be encouraged, guys. Makra is your partner. I know a lot of this workshop will be around the other act and what you cannot do and the law and what have you. But I just want to encourage you that think digital. Go in that digital space with an aim to extract value from there. So brand yourselves properly. That's the point. Brand yourselves properly. Some of you, because of the things you post, people have profiled you with how you were poor. How you were poor. how we have but when you meet them, you're not using the power you have to harness and profile yourselves, so that when you deliver something, so watch what you're putting on social media. It doesn't mean you should go live every day. Please. It doesn't. Make sure that when you go live, it must be, it's hitting. So the market is there, guys. The market is there. We need you to make money in that digital space. And you're already there. You're already there. We are also almost there as a regulator. We'll do our part. Can you guys do your part? And together, we're going to make a meaningful digital space for the country and for everyone else. I thank you very much for your attention. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Daudi, for that great presentation, very enlightening, full of insights, some of the things that we take for granted, we don't know, but we also would like to acknowledge your passion, to help social media influencers and all of us to enjoy these platforms, but also to get something from the platforms when we are using them. Thank you. I wouldn't be wrong to say another final round of applause before I introduce another one. Thank you. This time around, we will have now our keynote speaker coming in. And I would like to invite would you like your manager to come first to introduce you? And so I think that'd be fine. So she's wait. That's good. Great. Okay, fine. So please, a round of applause as he comes in front. Please, Robo. Most welcome.
Alrighty. Hi everyone. All protocol observed. All the facilitators, all the members, all the team, Makra as well, and multi-choice. Modibwanji. Alright. Cool. So basically, sorry, can we just change the mics on the battery? I can hear it cutting and I can see it's red. Thank you. I'm okay, yeah. I'm gonna give you guys a quick intro. Head, I need. So just here you go, my brother. If you can just change these ones, thank you. Alrighty, I'm gonna give you guys an introduction, and also welcome to everybody joining online from the digital platforms and the cameras and on Zoom. I'm gonna give you guys an introduction of who I am and what I do. The introduction is gonna be short because it's not the reason why I'm here, but it's where everybody can be and how we got to where I am today. Thank you. In context. Also, I believe a lot of times as people, when we get information, we sometimes look at the information we know instead of take the percentage we don't. So I might say things you already know, I might say things you already understand, but even in what I say, you know 99% of what I'm saying. There is a 1% that you would need to make you 100. Make sense? Because if we're not 100, then we're not complete. So bear in mind, because I'm going to go around, but I'm going to say things that make sense and say things that are going to take everybody to the top. So, firstly, my name is Robot Boy, but you guys can call me Robot Boy. Basically programmed by God, fueled by the Spirit, and fueled by the blood of Christ. Amen? First basis. Behind the chain that has the robot emoji, there's the initials TGDSOY. Personal name for myself, TGDSOY stands for trust God and don't sleep on yourself. This is a motto I live by. This is the motto I move by, and that's what keeps me going all the time. Trust God, don't sleep on yourself. Basically, in that order. Because trusting God is the first thing that I believe, and not sleeping on yourself is because you need to believe in who you are before other people can believe in you as a person. Amen? Cool. Now, there's a difference between, get to the brands now, there's a difference between being famous and being influential. That's the first thing I want to put out. Being famous and being influential, there's a big difference. Every influential person is famous, but every famous person is influential. Make sense? We live in a time where that's what people are chasing, that's what people think they have, that's what people are proudful and boastful about. So having a lot of numbers, having a lot of followers can make you famous. But if you say things and people don't listen to what you say, then you're not influential. So the most important thing to understand is that being influential makes you famous, but being famous doesn't make you influential. Righty. Cool. These are brand campaigns and brand collaborations I've worked with. I'm not going to mention all of them because they're all on the screen, but of course, DSTV, La Liga, Sun City, Netflix, Spa, Cadbury, VW, Knickknacks, Oppo, More Fire. This is basically an introduction of how I'm here today on a stage being welcomed in Malawi to speak. And thank you again for having me here. Let's go. Social media marketing. So social media marketing. So this is everything that has come from this very device and a cell phone. DSTV, like again, Fox Africa, F&B, Uber Eats, McDonald's, VW, Game Store. There's a lot of back, Made Lemon. Sorry, can I get that headset? I think the cutting is still affecting. And I want to be very audible and very clear so that no one misses what I say. I know I'm a robot, but technology sometimes fails its own people. Mic check. I know these are the mics they use at Miss SA pageants. Good evening and welcome to Miss Sata. I'm kidding. Alrighty. Okay, activation, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and F&B. Creative direction, I've been a junior creative director at Massive Metro. ANC local election campaign, for those that know the political party from back home, on Offensive Mwase. Go. events and hosts. The South African Music Awards, the Summer Awards 25, the Amapiano Awards, the Culture, DJ Shimza's one-man show, Lockdown House Party. Lockdown House Party was one of the biggest shows in the country during lockdown. And I'll speak about that. If you hashtag the most used hashtag in 2019, 2020, number one was COVID-19. Right under COVID-19 was that show. Most used hashtag. As much as COVID-19 was being used, right under COVID-19 was Lockdown House Party. Major stages, South African Idols, the Soweto Derby, 90,000 people in a stadium with Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates and Cotton Fest. Go. Television adverts, Coca-Cola, McDonald's. Featured shows and series, Mzansi Insider. Panel speaking on Sunday Times, Aramet Comedy Club. I already mentioned. Movies, Vampire Diaries, Pop Lock and Roll. In cinemas, MC Telkom Knockout Challenge, Telkom Universal Music Group, Era of the Annos, and Quarantine Online. Television adverts, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, the face of DSTV Compact, Aramet Comedy Club, I showed face on Generations as well as The Culture. Go. Music catalog, Amapiano, Scorpion Kings, DJ Mapurisa, DJ Kabza, The Small, William Last, Show Machozi, Donald, Big Sky, Mac G, Prince KB, MT's Java, aka William Last, Lucas Raps, Tyler ICU, Jay Konka, Freddie K. And this other song called Salary Salary. I don't know if there's this other song here. Okay, go. Social media, right. Social media platforms, basically the social media platforms, every platform, and keyword every platform, is over 200K, I think, except YouTube, and overall it's over like 3 million in terms of following. Cool, go. That was the introduction. So, allow me to explain how we got from this cell phone to brand, work, influence, culture, change, monetizing, young youth, older generation, families, South Africa, and representing what we know today as digital and influencing, right? Now, the first thing I ever done, the first thing I did was, I was at a McDonald's drive-thru with my mom in the car. I'm shooting a video on the phone. My mom is cool, by the way. Like, if we call my mom now, she'll answer and say, hey, dog, what's up, dog? My mom calls me dog. That's how cool she is, right? So my point of recording her is so that people can see how cool she is at a McDonald's drive-thru, right? Quick story. I call her, I record her. She's greeting, hey, dog, what's up? We're at McDonald's. As soon as the McDonald's intercom said, hi, can I take your order? I said, hi, can I please have a Big Mac, but without acha, right? Firstly, McDonald's doesn't sell acha. Why would there be acha at McDonald's? It's funny, but it's weird, right? When I posted that video, people started reacting to the fact that I asked them to not put acha in a Big Mac meal instead of my mom's coolness, right? Now, when it comes to social media, there's a point that you're trying to put across versus a point that people take, right? A lot of the things we do are intentional, but then there's subliminal messaging or subliminal facts that people are going to pick up from what you do. Here's the story. From that moment, I realized that people got more interest in the fact that I asked for something that you wouldn't ask for at a McDonald's. That speaks to the GD's point of humor, right? Something funny, something attractive. there's a lot of people that like different things, but I believe everybody likes laughing, right? During the introductions, there was a comedian who's sitting here with us. I'm sure the comedian can agree, right? That nobody does not like laughing, right? So from that point on, I realized that, okay, here's something that interests people. The next video was with, in fact, Kelvin, who is my best friend and is now my manager, right? And I'm at a McDonald's again, and I started asking for things that someone wouldn't ask for at a McDonald's drive-thru on visuals. What am I doing? I'm creating content for people that are following me, and at the window of the McDonald's, to not confuse the ladies taking the order, I'm going to explain. I'm saying, sorry about what I asked for. I was just creating content. So she's comfortable, so I'm not messing up anybody's job and anybody's line in time, but I'm creating content on the phone. What started happening is I started asking for things that people were asking for on the ground in South Africa. So if there's a big concert that is representing the youth, and there's a big concert that is going to push and drive the young people to get to a place, I'll shoot a video where I get to McDonald's and I ask for a double quarter pounder and 2 tickets to the ICC arena. So now it's funny because, like, why would you ask for tickets to ICC at McDonald's? But it started becoming a trend where if something happens in the country, the social media, not even influencers, everybody in general will start saying, let's ask Robot Boy to go ask for this at McDonald's. Because that is the new way of marketing something that isn't old school. I don't know if that makes sense. Now, something as simple as that became, there was a reshuffle in the government, right? I know government conversations are always tricky, right? There was a reshuffling in the government. And I got to McDonald's and I ordered large fries, Sprite, and a new government, right? And now, that video again, posted, all social media platforms, the comments are running down, like, did you really ask for that? Yeah, please ask them for a new Minister of Health. Please ask them for a new thing. So this is something that is not controversial, but it's entertaining, it's truthful, and it's innovative. Right? That's how this all started. Literally, McDonald's. By the time I was done with, now, and again, let me give you context. Musicians drop music. So this one guy's got a song, and he says, please promote my song. Okay? Now, instead of the video starting by me asking for something at McDonald's, it starts with me playing the song in the car. So I'm listening to the song, I'm listening to the song, I'm listening to the song. When I get to the order, hi, can I please take your order? Hi, can I please have 3 large fries and tickets to the Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates game on the 25th of August? Now what happens is, remember what I said about intention. I post something for intention and people start catching everything around it. So instead of people asking about what I'm ordering, they're asking, whose song is that? Now people are saying, I like the song. Who's the artist of the song? Now I've got musicians, now it's the music element. Then I'm asking about the dates of the song. Now people are like, oh wait, there's a Soweto Derby happening on the 25th of August. Now that's information I've already given you because I ordered something that has to relate with the date. Make sense? Creative innovation. Small video, intention, and side elements. In an advert, what this would be called is product placement. Product placement right now, if I take a picture of this room, product placement would be the Nika water bottles, right? Product placement would be the branding and the makra that's present. That's product placement. So in a video format, that's what I'm doing. I'm recording a video and I'm posting it on all social media platforms. Now, what starts happening is people start seeing this content. People start pushing the content, obviously because I'm starting at McDonald's. If you know people that work at Toyota and there's content about Toyota, the first people you're going to send it to are your friends, your family, and people from Toyota. So by the time I got to McDonald's and the CEO of McDonald's was sitting in McDonald's, the staff already knew what was going on. By the time I met the CEO of McDonald's, I introduced myself and I tried to show him a video, and he said, "Oh, I've seen this, I know this. Come, let's sit in my office, we need to talk." Because as McDonald's, they're probably marketing on billboards, radio and TV, but this boy's video on social media are doing more numbers than my traditional media. So in order to market something and to push something, this is the boy we need. Make sense? Now, it doesn't remove the importance of radio, TV, and newspapers if this is a digital age. But how can we bring you, Mr. Digital, into our space, and how can we accommodate everybody into this new digital space? Does it make sense? So what ended up happening is we had a conversation, we're starting to campaign, there's a new campaign they're trying to push, they're trying to drive. If I'm now sitting in the McDonald's office, I say, I am known for drive-thrus. Let's shoot a drive-thru commercial that will play on TV, that I can also post on my social media, and have a live activation on the day where you bring newspaper journalists and magazine journalists who then take pictures of the drive-thru that they can still post on newspapers and magazines. Do you guys see how now we're all collaborating? Instead of saying social media is one thing, newspapers is another thing. We're putting all the things together. Does that make sense? Now it's being a collaborative effort. So they start asking, okay, what do you want to drive? They're trying to drive a drive-thru experience. So let's use two hashtags. Drive-thru experience, McDonald's, and Robot Boy. What ends up happening is that people are searching Robot Boy because that's who they know for drive-thrus. They're trying to find out what the drive-thru experience is and what the brand is. So the brand doesn't lose value because it's McDonald's. What we're doing together is the drive-thru experience, and who I am in my profile also benefits. That's how you merge the relationships together. Does it make sense? Cool. Let's go. Are we still on? I just want to see. Cool. Brand and intention. So, to give you guys some context, because I started something that caught fire, you could say I became an influencer by mistake. Right? Became an influencer by mistake. In music, there's a term called one-hit wonder. One-hit wonders are people that drop a bang and it blows up and then they're gone. And a lot of times we think, what happened or why did they? But we don't know if behind the scenes, the person was just in the studio saying, robot, 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 salar, 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 and then left. And the song was released, it became a hit. And now the people start expecting him to be a musician when all he was doing is robot, 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 you know. So what ended up happening is because I posted the video on social media and it became a trend and I became the McD guy, I had to then decide, do I let that go and the attention that people already have? Or do I become a brand and do I become intentional? Please keep that slide out. So what happens is now, in order to become a brand, you need to be intentional, right? Now I'm intentional with how I post. Now I'm intentional with which McDonald's do I post at. Now I'm intentional with what am I trying to communicate with my posts. What ends up happening is that Zambak, do you guys know the Zambak brand? Yes, Zambak? Okay, I've got something that's similar to Zambak. Okay, so this is Vaseline, right? This Vaseline, but a Zambak brand is something that's pretty much like this in a metal container. It's very hard to open, right? You guys agree? So what happened is Zambak posted a post where this one guy was saying, this thing is hard to open. It's very hard to open. Why would they create it? Why would they make it? The people that made it are silly. They don't consider people. They don't consider much. And because of how I used to post the content on social media, Zambak wanted to communicate. Someone say communicate. Someone say communicate. Zambak wanted to communicate a way to open these type of tins. So the way in which you open these type of tins is that you close it completely so that the air can come out. Once the air has come out, it's easier to open. So a lot of people struggle to open these things because they don't close it equally. That's all Zambak wanted to communicate. So because of the track record of the videos I used to post, they approached me and said, here's a video of someone bad-mouthing us. Right? Negativity, bad-mouthing, speaking bad, right? Now, my job as this person that's in a space of being influential, I need to focus on me being a brand and intentional and influential. Zambak says to me, this is how you close it in order to open it this way. So what do? Post a video. In brand, I'm known for being in the car. So I stay in my car and I'm speaking to people on the phone. I say, hi ladies and gentlemen, how you guys doing? So apparently, to open this thing, you need a degree. Now I'm referencing the first video that was bad-mouthing the brand, Zambak. But you actually don't need a degree. I mean, if you can just, while I'm speaking, I take out a hammer, straight face, right? I take out a hammer and I'm trying to explain, then I say, sorry man, don't mind me. And then I take out like a whole saw while I'm speaking, and I've got the straightest face, and while people are watching it, they're like, wait, what is going on here, right? But I'm busy explaining how all you need to do is close it properly, and you don't have to like strain yourself or your fingers. You don't even need and then I'm taking out like more crazier weapons out of the car. And then I end up leaving them and saying, you don't need all these things, just close it properly and open it. Okay, cool, bye. And I walk out the car. That video hit a reach of like, I think over 200K views. And on Twitter, that became my first paying Twitter video for like 15K. The video was 30 seconds. A 30-second video paying somebody 15K for communicating and brand alignment. Someone say communicating. To this day, there are people that don't know how to open a Zambak back home. The minute anyone says, I'm struggling to open my Zambak, what do people do? Send them my video. Someone say longevity. Another important thing we need to understand as brands is that are certain things we need to communicate, but the things that we need to communicate need to have longevity. Because without longevity, you can't be sustainable. Right? Now, as a brand, we have to remember to, as a brand, we need to remember to always be intentional with what we do and what we post and how we post. Right? Next slide. New media and digital. Now, speaking of new media and digital, I mentioned this earlier. How many people here work for newspaper? Newspaper, cool, cool. Magazines, I guess magazines and newspapers almost the same print. Cool. Radio. People work at radio? Cool, radio. And then television? Cool, television. Now, new media and digital can live and can be incorporated in traditional media. For example, not everybody is on the road driving, listening to radio. Correct? Not everybody is at home, sitting on their couches, watching TV. Correct? Not everybody gets to go to the garage station and buy a newspaper. Correct? Not everybody is able to pass by and sit at reception and read a magazine. But everybody has what? A cell phone. Majority of our lives right now and where digital has gone is that everybody is always on their phone. Now, what happens is incorporating new media into traditional media helps the reach. Someone say reach. If and I'm not sure, and I also stand to be corrected as far as culture goes, but when I go for an interview on radio back home, we dress up for visuals. Right? Radio back home, we dress up for visuals. What do I mean? When I get to the station, there's a picture that's being taken at the radio station. We take a picture. The picture gets posted on all social media platforms to say, Robot Boy has arrived. Hashtag this, hashtag that, it's gone. We have the interview. While we're having the interview, there's a video being recorded of everything I'm saying for the important parts of what I say, to be then posted again on social media. By the time I leave, there's audio that's being mixed and put together to then be played on snippets of the actual social media page of the radio station. Does it make sense? What does that do? It includes everybody that's not able to sit in a car to listen to radio. It includes everybody that's not able to access that level of time to sit and miss the interview. Because if you missed it, right? But with digital, you can always save the internet because the internet doesn't forget. And that's how you have things called binge watching or catching up, right? That's the merging of new age and new digital. The ability to make sure that even on TV, if there's a soapy and the soapy has a character, check. If the soapy has a new character or something interesting in the drama series, a snippet of it is captured, is posted on social media, and catch this episode live tonight at 9 p.m. What ends up happening is it drives traction, it drives traffic for people to go watch it. And even if they miss it, they can catch it up on the actual platform. A lot of times we think digital is one thing and traditional is another. There is a way to fuse it because that's what's going to benefit us. Because the young people are on their phones. And the influencers are on their phones. Does that make sense? So that's radio, and same with TV, and same with newspapers. Newspaper articles can also have existing social media pages and have digital online pages where they tag the certain person that has done good. Someone say good. Not just the bad, right? Where they tag people that have done good on their social media platforms. What ends up happening is that I haven't bought a physical paper yet. But when I log on to Instagram, or Daily Sun has tagged me on something. By the time I go see it, I'm like, oh cool, Daily Sun tagged me on this. Then I can go physically buy the physical copy to have and own a physical copy. Does that make sense? That's brand. And that's new media. Slide. The impact and influence. Someone say impact. Look at your neighbor and say influence. Now, there are different types of levels of impact and influence. The first thing I mentioned is the fact that being famous doesn't make you influential. but being influential makes you famous, right? The biggest level of influence is the ability of you saying something that the young people are going to follow, and then everybody's going to join in and be a part of. Once you realize the power that you have as an influencer, understand the fact that you have the power and you have the impact. Now, consistency and quality will gain you impact. Consistency and quality. I made an example with the one-hit wonder, right? Now, for people that have cars, I assume everybody here either owns a car or knows how to drive a car or has been in a car, right? We all know that there's taking your car to the dealership and then taking your car to a mechanic friend, right? What's the difference? I see you laughing. Please tell us what the difference is between taking your car to a dealership and taking it to a mechanic friend.
So probably taking a car to a dealership, you are guaranteed of quality service.
Guaranteed. Someone say guaranteed. Someone say quality. Cool.
And taking a car to a friend, you're guaranteed of poor services.
Alrighty. So now, dealership means quality and consistency. Can I say that, right? As brands and influential people, you need to understand that you will only have impact if you've been consistent and if you've always produced quality. You cannot one day give us quality and next day give us poor quality. Then the next day you give us quality, then the next day you give us poor quality. Then the inconsistency of how you use and treat your work is going to make us, the people, doubt you. So now by the time you say something else, we doubt your quality and your influence and your level. So someone say consistency. The more consistent you are with who you are and the brand that you're trying to push is what's going to help you. I'll make a personal example. I don't drink. I've never been drunk. I've never been tipsy. Right? So that bus missed me. The alcohol bus, and I don't. It just, and I just, right? So I don't smoke either. So I'm not a substance person, to put it out there. Now, I've been approached by a lot of alcohol brands that want to push the product. But because Robot Boy, in my personal life of living, I've never drank, I've never smoked. Next thing, if I come out and I say, yo, the new Hunter Dry, people are like, nah. Like, you can be the best creative, you can have the creative idea, the smartest execution plan, the smartest strategy, the biggest billboard, but if my face is on that thing and I'm saying, Hunter's Dry, people are like, nah. Why? Because of consistency. What does my consistency look like? My consistency looks like God, clean content, no vulgar, family, positivity. That's what my brand is. That's what my brand looks like. That's what my consistency looks like. By the time a parent is walking with their child and sees me, they go, oh, there's Robot, go take a picture with Robot. Because the parents know my content. When my face shows up on something, the parent knows my consistency, that I'm family friendly. My son can watch this. The son and daughters are saying, Mom, watch this. The mother knows, oh, it's Robot. Oh, it's because that's what consistency is, and that's where the power is. Because the minute you can't stand for something you'll fall for anything. If you can't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And that's where my values are. And because those are my values, I even decide which brands I work with, because I'm not able to work with every brand. Because yes, there's brands with money that approach us because everything your face is on is trusted. Because of my consistency and what we've built. But unfortunately, my brand is at stake too. Kelvin knows this. People come to him, yo, this new internet thing, we're trying to get robot on it. Kelvin goes, okay, give us the SIM card. Yeah, but we want to launch the project. Like, yeah, give us the SIM card, let's use it for a month. Because after a month, it fails and it doesn't work. And now our face is already on it. That's where you lose trust and impact, because you're moving with things that don't work and aren't brand worthy. Because now you went from influencer to brand, right? Because the minute you become an influencer, you have people's attention. Now you have to be a brand and think intentionally of what you're selling, how you're selling yourself, and how you as an influencer can align with a brand. McDonald's is a funny story, because I used to eat McDonald's all the time. I know I don't look like it because it goes, and I'm still skinny at 30, but it's fine, right? But it's important for me to have McDonald's because I eat McDonald's, I know the menu. It's important for me to drive with VW because I've driven almost every VW, know the mechanics. It's easy for me to align with a client that I work with, that I have the app I am using, because I'm not lying. The biggest thing that catches influencers out is lying. Because people are able to tell when you're speaking through someone and not speaking out of your own experience. Does it make sense? And that's another problem that we might find. Because someone has numbers, they use them to say things based on numbers. But because of impact and trust, people are very smart to see that you haven't been consistent since you started influencing. So when you come to me now and say, Nika is the best water, it's like, yeah, but you first said Bonaqua, and then you said this, and then you said Aqua, and then you're saying, you know what I mean? So it's consistency in knowing who you are and how you move. Now, interesting story. I just said I don't drink. I just said I don't work with alcohol brands that push brand. I signed a partnership with Shivas. Yep. Before you know it, my sponsors is Shivas. Robot Boy is Shivas. People are like, not this guy. We trusted him. He was a family favorite. I'm kidding. And then I post that and I keep quiet. Now people are like questioning, yo, but I thought he said, maybe money changed him. Yeah, you know they always change. It can't be him. Before they know it, I'm promoting drinking responsibly and water. Ta-da! Right? Because Shivas is a brand. The alcohol is the product. But the brand Shivas is trying to communicate drinking responsibly and is highlighting water. So I get into Shivas and I skip the product and I grab the water and I say, Shivas, drink the water, right? And that's how you break markets too. Because alcohol brands, unfortunately or fortunately, have a lot of budget. They've got marketing plans, they've got a lot of strategy. But for someone like myself who doesn't drink, it shouldn't stop us from being able to collaborate and still push a positive message. There are a lot of people that are in an aisle that I'm not in because of substance, in inverted commas. But if I've got enough influence to move this crowd, I should be able to step in this crowd and say something positive as well, and then step out. And stay in, brand. Somebody say impact. Go back to that social media and sponsorship page. So that's the sponsors post and how social media works now, where everybody is on their phones, the world is moving digital, and digital is the biggest thing we have. A lot of people may have not seen how quick or important digital is, but what happened during COVID-19? Everybody was where? In their houses. Every meeting was where? On your laptop. No one could go nowhere, no one could do anything, and the only way we could communicate was through our phones. Companies are losing money because the marketing budget is on outdoor billboards. No one's outdoor. The new promotions they're trying to promote are on taxi branding. No one's in taxis. The biggest market is in the annual festival. No one is in festivals. Where does that budget go? To social media influencers. Because in our houses, we have got lighting, we have got phones, we have got ring lights. Some have cameras, some don't. But let me tell you, your content doesn't have to be in 4K and HD. It just has to be funny, and it has to make sense, and it has to communicate. Someone say communicate. It has to communicate what the brand is trying to tell the people that are watching. There's a lot of us here that aren't on TikTok. You're not on TikTok, you're not on Instagram, you're not on Twitter, but you know a video because it's on someone's WhatsApp status. Am I right? So you're not going to take your data and go watch TikTok the whole night. But there's a video that you've been laughing at or a dance challenge that you've seen on WhatsApp. Because that's the power of social media and sharing. Now, what more if you had TikTok and you had Instagram and you had Twitter? You're able to reach a larger crowd, you're able to reach a bigger market, and you're able to do more. Now, during lockdown, campaigns were coming in. Hey, we need you to say this, we need you to shoot this, we need you to create this content. Before you know it, teenagers are sitting in a household where their parents can't leave the house. Can't leave the house to go earn a living, and the teenager in the household is bringing in 25K a month and is holding down the household. Someone say impact. Families are being fed by a teenager posting using a cell phone on TikTok about spa, groceries, using the kitchen at the house to pack up groceries, talking about dishes. The biggest problem with dishes is that you don't know if you want to wipe them or leave them to dry. Who here likes leaving them to dry? Who here likes washing them and drying them? Comments, comments, comments. Comments create engagement. Comments create engagement. Engagement creates shareability. Shareability is I save this, I post it on my family WhatsApp group. Because in my family, we all know whose brother's who, which sister likes washing dishes, which cousin likes breaking dishes. Relatability. Through dishes, but through a campaign and through marketing and through social media. And before you know it, a family is fed and is living of one teenager feeding a household of 5 people during COVID-19, all through one cell phone because of social media influencing. Do you guys get the power? Do you guys see the impact? And why I'm mentioning COVID as an example is because no one saw it coming, right? We all had 5-year plans, 10-year plans, and it's it now. And now digital was the only thing that was valuable in that sense. And now coming out of COVID, it's still something that is very big because that's where the world is going. That's where the market is. The DJ explained as well in his graph. Does it make sense? Next slide. Haha, Malawi, we are back. So, I am gonna have, mic check. I'm gonna have a Q&A, right, to answer questions. And because I believe me answering a question will make more sense as well over than what I've spoken about that I felt is important. But I need you guys to understand that there is power in social media. There is power in influencing. There is power in digital and infusing digital in everything you do. Subliminal messaging, actual messaging, and content. Being a brand, knowing what you want to portray, knowing what you want to do. Knowing whose song dropped where, playing music in behind of something that's running, a dance challenge that you see a president doing is uplifting a young artist who's trying to be something in the country. Being able to be in the entertainment industry and not be someone that is vulgar, not be someone that smokes or drinks, still being able to have value in who you are and being able to be trusted by just not the parents, but as well. We are big on breaking stereotypes. Someone say breaking. And one thing about the internet I will say is there are no gatekeepers on the internet. There's been a lot of gatekeeping in everything and a lot of things. But if you post a video and it reaches 1 million people and is shared by 1 million people, is liked by 1 million people, and you can use that video to go secure a bag, to go change the culture. As I close, speaking of changing culture, there is another example I want to make about image and status, in breaking stereotypes. Not a single one of my posts or videos or content will you see me wearing Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Versace. It's nice for its people, not me. I wear local brands. This is a guy from Pretoria, Shasha, Africa, Markham's. My whole wardrobe is basically local brands. So, changing culture is young kids thinking that being hip isn't just the flashy brands. Because a flashy brand means money that your parents don't have. But a local brand means affordability and support. When I get mentions on social media, people feel like my brand will have made it if Robot Boy was wearing it. Instead of, I'm a nobody because I don't own Balenciaga shoes, or I don't own a Louis Vuitton bag. The power of influencing culture, where a young kid says, I don't have to wear this because Robot was wearing a Ben Luke t-shirt. Let me go buy a Ben Luke t-shirt. That's the economy. Ben Luke's local brand is growing in numbers because of an influential person who's making it acceptable and cool to look like how you want to look like and not what the society says you need to look like. Being able to be at an event, that is classy with Lamborghinis and McLarens parked outside because it's an expensive feel, but still be you. Your authenticity and your brand consistency is what's going to hold weight. That's impacting the young culture. Being true to who you are. Taking from what you need to take, but not changing your authenticity. So, there are certain things in Malawian culture that people understand. There are certain things in this country that people need to communicate. There are certain things in this country that can impact the next generation. That I have no context over, but the people from here, everybody in this room, everybody watching, can break that stereotype. Can change that thinking. Can change that mentality. Because if you're good at what you do and you have hard work in you, hard work will beat talent when talent isn't good enough. I'll say that again. Hard work will beat talent when talent isn't good enough. You work hard at your craft, you stay true to who you are, you'll build a brand, and you'll become the biggest influential person that this country's ever seen. My name is Robot Boy, and thank you for having me. I think we can just take questions. Kelvin at the back, he'll tell me how much time we have, but I'd like to answer as many questions as I can to my ability and help and assist so everything aligns with everybody's correct and respected fields of work. Do we have any questions? Yes.
Yeah, hi, thank you very much. Taps Pandaw at Gold Mountain Media. Where do you find now, from when you started, said that the McDonald's doing your posts,
yeah,
to then aligning with the brands, where you're working with more and more brands, where is that crossover? Because what's happening in Malawi is there's a lot of influencers, right? They influence, they post and they get a lot of comments, interaction,
yeah.
And then what tends to happen here is the agencies, etc., take that and use it in their, in their particular campaigns, right? So do you find that, is that why you took on management, so that, you approach the brands? If you have an idea, do you then approach the brands? So basically, what comes first, the chicken or the egg,
Hectic. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think McDonald's has chickens. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So, yes, on the management part, my biggest conversation about management is having something to manage. Some of the things you're able to juggle on your own, and you don't necessarily need a manager to say, I've got a manager, because there's nothing to manage, and you have someone in your life that's not really, that doesn't really have a role, that could be earning a salary from having a role where it's really needed. So I had a manager when I started having a lot of things that I'm doing, from voiceovers to acting to dancing to performing to hosting to shooting to so now I need a manager. So yes to that, but it's a trust thing, and it's a reading the contract thing, and it's a what you sign.
Before that, in terms of when you were making the content, right?
Yes.
Were you making it, specifically for brands and approaching those brands? You know what I mean?
Okay, so I remember saying, you could say I was an influencer by mistake. So that's what happened. I was just doing it out of the joy of making people laugh. I was doing it out of the joy of, here's something that's working and that people are enjoying. It was when I met the CEO and he knew who I was that I said, oh, all right, yo, what's up, Then we can start monetizing it. Because a lot of times, if you chase the money, yes, the process is not the same. But if your passion leads you to a place where you can monetize it, that's where you need to structure it accordingly. Shout out. Yes, with the blue.
Yeah, I think, Taps, you've raised a very important point. In our market, for example, Prophet Habakkuk is one potential guy who has just changed everything in terms of love and in terms of what he's saying. But here is that creativity that he has, but he will not profit anything from it because of the way we are. So it requires a lot of some sort of kind of partnering with such people who have got an opportunity to create something, but they can't be managed because everyone is now using his hashtag for adverts that we're seeing, banks, be it fast-moving goods, manufacturers, they're using whatever he's doing. So I like the way you have said it, that maybe by mistake you became a creative artist, which is a common thing that most of us have. I hope that's what I would add on to what he was asking.
So I take it you're speaking of a creative that's not really appreciated much? Okay. The DG mentioned Tanzania and Diamond Platinum. One thing you need to understand as well as a country is that most of us social media influencers or big faces and brands have our country's flag on our profile and on Instagram and on social media, because the greatness of us flows into the country and starts representing the country. If the country knows that they have gold and they're sitting on gold, but they don't appreciate the gold, they are the ones at loss. Because what happens is, if the country starts pushing this artist, this creative, internationally, it could easily be a collaboration. And that's another power of social media, by the way. There's certain music collaborations we've had with people that I've never met. Through Instagram, DM, link, music, voice, song out. There's immense potential for collaboration. People like William Lost are known all over the world. I did 1 or 2 videos with him. When I went to Dubai, someone said, "Hey, I know you." I said, "Me?" It's like, "Yeah, through William." I was like, "Oh, damn." Right? But the fact that you could recognize me through William meant the impact that William has in the world. So it has to start here. If you guys know he's good, if you see that he's good, you have to push for him to be on something big or global this or global that. When there's an international artist that comes here, let him open up for him, let him greet, let him host, because you need to invest in your own creativity in order for the world to see and to trust. That's how we got our Trevor Noah, our Black Coffee. We showed them love in South Africa. We pushed them from inside, and they made it out. And wherever you go in the world, when you talk creativity, brand, and influence, and you say South Africa, firstly they think rugby, and then they think Black Coffee, Trevor Noah, Sunbird. So the country needs to support that artist and push him from inside out. Yes, I think the lady had a question, and then 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Honorable entrepreneur, media influencer. I think most of the individual would like to know, apart from getting the, suppose some connections with some brands and things like that, I think most media influencers would like to know how can they get, suppose what the DJ said, intentional to get, whether paid from, whether it's TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, apart from just being like taken by a brand. I think we would want to say, I should include myself.
Yeah.
We would like to know how can we connect from not only the brands, but also from the actual media platform. Like what he was saying, the example that one video had about 100 million viewers. So how, because you said if he's not connected, he's not going to get paid, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So I think most people would like to know from there, how can they get paid from the actual media pages?
So,
thank you.
Thank you. The only social media platform that pays as the platform is YouTube. YouTube itself pays for the number of subscribers you have and the number of views you get. That is YouTube. That's where your podcasts come in. That's where the video that was playing now, it's a skit. It's like 9 minutes. So social media platforms, I think Instagram is developing that now, but it's not a thing yet. YouTube is the only platform where you, as the person, can get paid by YouTube. So the other platforms don't pay you. It's a brand that will pay you to post what you post on the platform. It's like, think of it as WhatsApp. WhatsApp doesn't pay you, but you use it, right? So WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, pretty much the same. Facebook has monetization, but the biggest one you can make a living off of is YouTube. So YouTube does have a system where you monetize, and they send you money based on the amount of views and numbers you get. And now understand something with YouTube is that the longer the video, the better. TikTok is opposite. The shorter the video, the better. So it's also doing the research in terms of which social media platform does what. TikTok, mainly videos, short content. Then Instagram, mainly visuals. Pictures do amazing on TikTok. Twitter, mainly chats, because it's a character-based platform. Then YouTube, long-form videos. Yeah, DG.
I think let me come in on the monetization of social media platforms vis-a-vis Malawi. As we speak, content created in Malawi and posted from Malawi is currently not being monetized by YouTube and Facebook. There are a number of reasons why that is the case, but pretty much the presentation that I made, those numbers, so now I'm speaking that both of us, we must own this as the regulator as well as the content creators, that we need to push more to get to a position where our indices are at a certain level, or then we now have a better bargaining power that we can go to YouTube and explain why we need our content to be monetized. That being said, it doesn't mean that you should not target YouTube. You still need to target YouTube, because it's a conversation that is ongoing, and shortly we'll get to that point where YouTube will now start to monetize Malawian content. So you'd rather be in the bus when the bus is at that stage.
Yes.
So when it starts moving,
you're the first.
You're already in there. So just to encourage you guys that regardless that now we're not monetizing, but we are in the process. We are halfway. We're over 70% done with the necessary issues. So keep creating that content and push it. Thank you.
Super. Thank you. There was a question at the back before I come this way. Yes, sir. Please.
My question was more to do with how do you balance between the human limitation on creativity versus the insatiable appetite for content? You talked about consistency.
Yes.
That's how you get to make a brand recognizable and make money out of it. But at the same time, you're a human being, and sometimes you're tired, you run out of ideas. How do you balance that? Because sometimes, because of not knowing how to balance, you may bring out content that's of lower quality.
Yeah. So that's a decision you have to make as a creative. There's a saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kelvin, you're as great as your last work. Yeah. There's a saying that goes, you're as great as your last work. So you don't want to be the content creator that says, yeah, this is the video I did in 2002. Look at it, look at it. Like, if it's got relevancy, yes, great. But you can't want to be the relevant guy now using a video that you did then. Because what are you saying about what you've done between then and now? So as a creative, you need to be able to understand that the pressure is in yourself and you're your only form of pressure. What a lot of people do is they try to compare themselves to everybody else, and that's how they crash. Because they're trying to be another person when there's only one of you. Yes, there's a lot of what you do, there's a lot of influencers, there's a lot of comedians, a lot of guys, girls, doctors, nurses, teachers, musicians, but God made one of you. So you can't fake being you. You can't make a different version of you. You have to just be you. And it's a matter of understanding that if I'm not, because there's something called creative block, where you get creative and then you're no longer creative. You can choose to take a break of a week or so to regain that level that you were at when you last posted, to make sure that you are consistent and not post things for the sake of posting things. Because if you post for the sake of posting, like you're saying, people are going to be able to see that, this is not as good as the last. And you will get days where the numbers are lower, but if you're confident in the fact that it's the best you've done, then that's what should keep you growing. Because opportunity means preparation. The same way GD just said now, stay in the bus while it's idling, so that by the time it moves, you're already in it. Opportunity meets preparation. Yeah. Shout out. There was a question at the back.
Not really a question, but just a comment to the reference that Olaya made on this personality that is called Prophet Habakkuk.
Yeah.
I would raise a point on the importance of partnerships, where a brand which is already established can come in so that the two synergies can feed from each other. I would say this in respect of to the popularity that Habakkuk has gained. There is that gentleman there, Tana, the comedian. I would accredit him to have contributed probably 80% to the popularity that this gentleman has gained. He created the first WhatsApp platform, and then he brought in this gentleman, Habakkuk. A lot of people flocked to that platform, and a lot of content that is being shared elsewhere at the moment was created from that forum. And since that forum was formed, probably now I think 6 or 7 more WhatsApp forums have been established, and we have over 1,000 followers on each of those WhatsApp forums. And from all those platforms, content is being generated every day. I think now what we can think of is how we can move in from there, how can we can monetize that content that is being generated. Because now, almost everywhere now, people are talking about Habakkuk. But trust you, he hasn't even made a single penny out of all such content. Thank you.
Hectic. Thank you for that, man. Yes, here and then the lady. I think just hold it in. That one doesn't. Yeah.
I think for me, it's an issue of the penny from
Yeah.
the content generation. So let's say on your part, when it comes to brand associations and collaborations with brands, I think we are challenging because maybe social media influencers are just coming in and they haven't done much, but we can see like the strides that have been made. When it comes to negotiating those collaborations and brands and talking the monies, how do you handle that for you to convince these people that you're putting in work into whatever you're doing to create the following and to create that brand, and for them to actually know the worth that you hold when all they see is, kids from Facebook, TikTok, and whatnot.
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
I think it's market share. Market share means there's traditional media, like you're saying, most of the money goes to the traditional media, and digital is still coming up, right? And like I said in the talk, you don't have to separate the two. You can slowly merge the two, because by the time digital gets to the top, you don't want to be left behind and be the only traditional media that hasn't evolved, right? Now, I'm not sure which restaurant you guys have this side that has a kids facility, like Spur, like something like Spur. Do you guys, is there like a restaurant that has a kids facility? I need a name just for the example's sake. Wimpy, right? You do understand that as parents, you may not want to go eat at Wimpy. But because Wimpy has a kids facility where they can be on their own, playful, joyful, excited, you'll decide to go to Wimpy. You hear what I'm saying? It's not your choice, but it's for the kids' sake. So understanding that, yes, you've got traditional media, but I've got the number of the youth. And if you feel the importance is in traditional, it may be the case now, but this is the same youth that's going to grow. This is the same youth that's going to be sitting in these chairs. These are the same youth that are going to be in power. If you don't invest in some level of youth, your agency might not be known by this youth when they're grown. So that's how you negotiate your value. You say, look, you guys are big and you're great for my parents, but my peers and the younger generation, this is how I'll be able to help you guys be known everywhere in terms of the older generation and the younger generation. Does it make sense? So you communicate that as far as the weight goes. GD.
So let's take an example of Macra. We have a big marketing and advertising budget, but why are we not using Tana? Why are we not using Julius Miti? Why are we not using Bella? Or why are we not using Habakkuk? It's because exactly what you've just said. You guys have not profiled yourself to come to Macra and say, hey, look here, Doubt. I have 20,000 followers, and this is the reach that I have. This is the platform that I hold. If I present your message, this is how far your message is going to go to. So it's also a two-way street. Don't expect Macra to come knocking to you and say, hey, your podcast, can we launch onto that? Because that's never going to happen. The mountain will never go to the monkey. The monkey will go to the mountain. So as you come, you must now be prepared to say, this is what our platform is. You know, I am Skefa Jumoto, and this is how big my Facebook is. This is how big my Twitter is. This is how big my Instagram is. If you remembered, guys, in his presentation, he showed those numbers to show the credibility and to show that if he says something, that's how far it's going to go. Now the question is, do you know, Onabanda, how big your audience is? Do you know what's the total impressions you're going to give me? Would you justify to me if I paid you 1 million kwacha, that 1 million kwacha would get the message to XYZ? So part of you reprofiling and rebranding as social media influencers is to also begin to look at those assets. What are you bringing to the table? So Macra will bring money. What are you bringing to the table? So the conversations now in your head should begin tilting towards that, you know what, I have a platform. But can you define that? But don't say I have a Facebook page. Everyone will have a Facebook page, but what makes your page different from the other pages? Why should Macra come to you, and why should Macra put its money on you? That is the story that we now need to start engaging on. And it's the future. That's where we need to go to. Thank you.
Thank you. Shout out.
All right,
My question comes into protection of your content.
Yeah.
You have worked with so many brands, and I'm pretty sure you probably do not remember some of the brands that you have worked with, the small brands most especially. How have you protected yourself and your brand from future, brands as well? The internet never forgets. Someone can pull up something, a video of you saying something, and at the end of the day in the future, you have this big brand you're working with, and you're representing something else. How have you managed the two, and also how can one manage such?
Yeah, I think that's tricky because I've always been aware of what I say where. So, I don't know, because I've never drank or been drunk, there's never a time where I've said something stupid. So it's like I don't have record of saying things that could put me in jeopardy in the future. The minute I realized that there is something like the internet or people watch and listen to what you say, I've always been conscious of who I am from my values. I've never wanted to be different on stage, off stage, and on the phone. I've always told myself I'm going to be like this on stage, off stage, and on the phone. So for me, it's understanding that in the future, different brands may come, but not much can be said that's negative because I've just never been a negative person. I've never thought negatively. I've always looked at the positive in everything. Yeah, so that's a bit hard, right, to answer. But I think that's the biggest thing people need to remember, though, as becoming an influencer or when people start paying attention to you, if you do have a side of you that lashes out or that says things or that's very controversial, you need to be cognizant of the fact that there's cameras rolling, there's audio being recorded, because you're not just representing yourself now, but your family, your friends, and your colleagues and brands, which is another reason why certain brands won't work with certain influencers. Because again, you haven't been consistent in who you present yourself to be. You're on my billboard holding my Samsung, and I'm paying you money to promote my Samsung. But at your birthday celebration, you're holding iPhones, and you're taking pictures with iPhones, being careless with what you represent. And that's why brands also take long, most probably. And back home, this is a big thing, to actually engage with you, because are you serious about your brand too, and will you not jeopardize our partnership? So protection is a thing of character. Your character will sustain where your talent takes you. I'll say that again. Your character will sustain where your talent takes you. So if you're a good singer and you win Idols or Malawi's Got Talent, you'll win it because your talent took you here. But if you don't have character, the fame, the hype, and the money is going to crush you. So the biggest thing to always build is your character. Okay, I think we're out of time. Last year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 5, because we're out of time. We're out of time, so last 5. 1, 2, and then the 2 in the table, and then 1 at the back, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to add. Hello? Okay, yeah, I just wanted to add on what he was saying about how do you put value. Because I think the problem with being an influencer in Malawi is like most companies don't understand how social media works.
Mm-hmm.
The way you generate views on TikTok is not the same way you generate views on Instagram. It's completely different.
Different algorithms.
So some company approached me. They wanted me to do content for them on TikTok, right? And they were saying they're going to look at my likes, shares, and comments. But for anybody who knows TikTok is all about views. Most people don't like or comment. Most people will actually save a TikTok to use it later if it's useful. So most companies don't understand how social media platforms, they just think because you're getting likes, then, you're going far. So I wanted to speak more on what he said, that how do you put value on your content? Like, if you're negotiating a deal or whatever, are you looking at your views and your likes and your comments and whatever? Like, how do you actually put value on that? Because a lot of companies don't understand how to put value to content, and the amount of money they were offering me was so ridiculous. One of my best, the latest video that I had about 18,000 views, and it only had 1,000 and something likes. And when I calculated by what they were offering me, I would probably make maybe 16,000 kwacha. And this is a video that has over 18,000 people that I've seen. I don't know how much 16,000 kwacha is in rand, but it's not a lot. It's less than 200 rand. So it's like, how do you get them to understand the value of your content? Because
so the thing is, even if you understand your value, if they don't understand it, it's not going to work. You can walk in a room and know your value, that you're the greatest of all time TikToker. But if they don't understand it, it's not going to work, because it's almost going to seem like you're selling yourself. So to a certain extent, what you're explaining now, you either need to explain to them, or someone internal needs to do their research, and they need to understand how the stuff works. Because also, views mean profit for the brand, right? VW can give me a car and I can drive it. They're not trying to see if people are watching me drive the car. I drove a VW from here to Durban, and I was called to bring it back because someone wanted to buy it. You see the difference? I said, yo, I thought you said I'm coming back Sunday. They're like, hey, you need to come back today. They want to buy the car. That type of level of influence of, do you understand? So for you, because this is an influencer's problem too, you think you get the views, you need more money. They think your views does nothing to my ecosystem. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's an understanding on both sides, like the GD was saying to the podcaster, that you having a podcast, you're not giving us the numbers, you're not telling us how my product is going to benefit from your platform. Because if I give you money, the money is already there. You have the money. You've already benefited. But me, as a company, as Makra, how am I getting a return in that? Okay. Short questions.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on all those plans that you listed. But mine is a quick one. How much money are we talking about randomly for any brand? How much money are we talking about? For example, you working with Netflix, you mentioned. You working with Rariga. How much money are we talking about? Just to appreciate, if you're comfortable to disclose that. Thank you.
Kelvin.
That's a funny question. Okay, so as it stands, what I'll give you is basically rate card value, essentially for one post right now. For him to post on Instagram for Netflix, it would be 50,000 rands. Just one post. I think, does that give you context? Because then what you're keeping in context, which is what DG was kind of trying to communicate as well, which is that that's one post, and what you get from Netflix would be a campaign. So they'll do an average of 4 to 5 posts. That can be on various platforms. Sometimes it can be on all platforms. But then that gives you a direction of what those monetary aspects look like. And if you don't mind me adding, for the lady who asked the question, essentially when you guys are creating content is the one part. The next part that happens is that you have to cultivate an audience that consumes your content. So to what he was saying, the brand wants to understand, does your audience consume and engage with your content, and to what degree does that happen? Because like you said, you made an example with TikTok. TikTok is such a global algorithm that if I post a TikTok today, on the first time I open my account, I don't have an account, just by the way, but if I create an account right now and I post right now on TikTok, by tomorrow, I do have a very high possibility of hitting 1 million views because of TikTok, just because of the algorithm. Now, when you take that to a brand, The question is, can that million, can you give me at least 1% of them to buy my product? That's the question, because the value for the brand is the engagement with their product, whether engaging with it or buying it. Or to say, can I suggest it to my next friend? Can 1% of your audience suggest it to their next friend? So that's the question. So hence why knowing your platforms becomes very important, because then that's how you can also then understand and communicate your audience to then the brand. I hope that makes sense. All right, did I answer that question as well?
Shout out.
All right.
Last three.
Hello. I think personally you've done well to build your brand. That's good.
Thank you.
Another thing, you've done well to monetize that brand. I think here in Malawi we have a big problem because a lot of people are influential but they're broke. And then the reason is behind that is, how do you balance approaching and being approached? Simple as that.
That's a good question. Approaching and being approached. As a creative, I trust and believe that you don't believe that this is the last thing you can create. As a musician, you don't believe that this is the last music you can create. As a comedian, you don't believe that this is the only joke you have. In order for you to be approached, you need to have already built some form of content that I can see as enough and good enough for me to approach you. That's the first part. Building. Building while waiting to be approached. Then the flip side is I approach knowing that I've built. Does that make sense? So I've built enough and I know that I've built and now I'm here. So my understanding of that is like a corridor. We all know the saying, knock on doors, right? Keep knocking on doors. But I don't know why our mentality always pictures one door. For me, knocking on doors is a corridor. If I knock on door one, I'll knock on door one, and then I'll knock on door one, and then I'll come to door two, and then I'll start knocking on door two. Door two, okay, then door three. And door three, I'm not just knocking, I'm trying to open to see if, because sometimes the doors you're knocking on are that preoccupied that they won't even hear your knock. And that's what, right? You knock on important doors. If you believe door three is very important, that's why you're knocking, why don't you try open? Why don't you try squeeze yourself in? Why don't you try force? Right? There's an understanding, because there's waiters that are waiting, but you're a knocker, a trier, opener. By the time I'm on door 4, door 1 is open, like, hey, sorry, I could hear the knocks, but I'm already being offered something in door 5. Door 7 is also already waiting for me ahead and saying, okay, I'm hearing something's happening in the corridor. That's when I proceed to door 9 and 10. So that's the level of confidence you'll have once you've built enough and you understand your value and you've made enough research as an influencer and as a content creator, to know that if you sit and wait, you might sit and wait forever. But because you started knocking and reaching, enough brands that have recognized you will then bring noise to other brands. Like Kelvin saying, with the product, I'll have to pass it to a friend, and a friend will say, no, I got this from this guy, and then that's how you build.
This should be, sorry, I know you won't like me by curtailing this session, but yeah, we have to stop, and that should be the last question. We are really gone beyond our time, all right? Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. Mine is a question. Since you started as an influencer,
yeah,
has it always been rosy, or there were times that you felt like quitting? If the answer is yes, what made you keep pushing?
So, that one is tricky. Because again, how I started was from the love of humor and making someone's day. The McDonald's videos was because I assumed people that work at McDonald's are there every day and they do the same thing and they get bored. But if I make a joke to them at the intercom, I'm going to make someone smile and make someone's day. I happen to then gain monetary status in what I love doing. So I love doing it, and you end up being paid for what you're already doing and loving what you do. And it's hard because the joy of the Lord is my strength. So even when I'm weak, I find my joy in Him. So it's hard to ever like feel down or feel like giving up. But certain things keep reminding me, where a girl who was being bullied because of a girl who was being bullied because of a skin condition in matric, and being laughed at for not having a matric dance date, the mother sent me a DM on Instagram and said, hey, my daughter's being bullied. She doesn't have a matric dance date. Please, can you help us? And we asked her when the date was. We asked her, does she have a dress? We organized the dress. We organized the car. And I showed up as her date. And the whole school was going crazy. The bullies were also like, shut down. And it made it to the news and a whole lot of, media platforms. And that girl's life has been changed forever. And her confidence has changed. And it wasn't because of me necessarily, but the act of the mother being able to look out for her daughter and ask someone like me to be there to help her change her thinking as far as what she thinks the world sees of her. And the lockdown example was also me, when I got to feed my extended family through my cell phone when no one could work. So certain things that show me real life changing instances keep me going. Thank you.
A robot boy. That was awesome. And I know you had only today, but I was talking to your manager, Kevin, that perhaps you can, for the afternoon, you can hang around and help with some Q&As in these sessions, because there is still a large appetite, isn't it? People really want to know more. But thank you. I'm not going to do a quick run of a summary of what he has presented because of time. Lunch is ready at the marquee, and as we go out, there'll be 2 ladies at the door, so let's get our coupon for the lunch. It's strictly 1 hour, and we've already eaten 4 minutes into the 1 hour, so let's be back by 2, please. And some of the questions you've been asking, the whys, the hows, we have experts here. They really are going also to continue to answer those questions. So thank you very much. Please enjoy your lunch and prepare for the afternoon session. It's going to be good. Thank you.